Show, Fox Sports Radio. Lot to get to today. We got a good show. I'm really happy we got Todd Furman on. I hadn't got up with him in a while. Look, have you, Ryan, you're reading, not watching as many shows. What are you reading right now? You're still reading the Game of Thrones books?
That's right.
What are you on right now?
I'm still on the third one. It's like a 970-page book.
War and Peace. Why don't you get a book on tape for when you drive in? Well, how long does the drive take you now?
That's what I was going to say. It's not really a good investment anymore, considering the drive has gone from an hour down to about 20 to 25 minutes each way.
Yeah, it's actually not the worst thing. For those of us who are still working and coming in, and it does give you, it gives you time away from, time away from home, which you're just there the whole time. It's not like you don't like the people that are home. It's like, a little personal space, right? I mean, that's the unbelievable thing about this. So I'm taking, I told you I've been reading, and it's interesting. My daughter she has to read Outliers, and I thought I had it. I do have most of the Gladwell books. I'm actually looking at The Tipping Point. I'm looking at Blink, which I have over here. If you guys want them, I'll bring it in. They're good. They're not super hard reads, but they're very interesting. There's a little redundancy to it, which gets a little tedious for me, but he makes a lot of smart points. There's a lot of good storytelling in it. There's just some elements to it which I truly, truly enjoy. Malcolm Gladwell's the author, so they're always bestsellers. So he also has a podcast, and one is called The Inconvenient Truth. And in The Inconvenient Truth, I only know this, I hadn't listened to his podcast, and it's a very much a non-sports guy telling who likes sports, but telling super non-sports nerd fans about, trying to inform them about Will Chamberlain. But there's some facts that I didn't know. I didn't know Will Chamberlain shot underhanded free throws when he was 22 the night he had 100 points in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And he goes on to interview Rick Barry and asks, why doesn't everybody shoot underhanded if you had such success? And Rick Barry, of course, was very successful and says it's such a much easier shot. It's softer. I don't know why everybody doesn't shoot this way. There is a lack of my all-ball interview, which drops tomorrow, is with Mark Price. Mark Price is a career 94% free throw shooter. I believe he's the second greatest free throw shooter in NBA history. So part of what's missing in the discussion is, yes, shooting underhanded can be better for big guys who are below 50% shooters. It does not mean it's the end-all, be-all in terms of free throws, considering the guys who are actually the best free throw shooters of all time, most of them shoot underhanded. But I thought there's this other thought that goes into the podcast where he talks with a statistician who has a theory that with the NFL, it's way smarter to get 6 second-round picks than is 1 first round pick. Now, part of it is they actually get 6 second-round picks for first-round pick. That seems like a massive devaluation of second round in comparison to first round. But the idea is sound in that there is a point where you're better off getting a bunch of second-round picks or low first-round or even high third-round picks instead of a high first-round pick, because the money's so much less, and if you get a volume of picks, somebody's going to end up becoming close to the same level of star as the first-round picks. The guys that aren't as good, you can jettison, and the volume of guys in the middle. You have 6 picks, and you have 6 picks for one. If one guy becomes a quasi-star, even if 2 guys play out, you're still left with 3 others being above average. And the logic behind why people don't do that is the same as to why Will Chamberlain stopped shooting underhanded, even though he's shooting 65% from the free throw line, shooting underhanded, and below 50 overhanded. It's just not cool. It's not cool for the Buccaneers, who have a prospect from Ohio, who won a national championship, won a Heisman Trophy, and it came out of nowhere. It's not cool to trade away the #1 pick, but could be the smart thing to do. Here's Zach Taylor. Well, here's Zach Taylor on discussing Joe Burrow.
Well, he's got all the traits you're looking for, in an NFL quarterback. And he's able to lead a bunch of guys who are really talented players, and sometimes that can be difficult, but they managed to win all 15 games, and he did an exceptional job. And that's not to mention the skill set he's got as a quarterback on the field. So he's certainly a really exciting prospect.
Well, look, I think he's really good. He's really good, but if he's not, you are screwed. Right? If he's not, you're screwed. And whereas if you get you get more first-round picks and high second-round picks, if they don't pan out on the volume of picks, you should be okay. Especially when you're the Bengals and you have a team like the Dolphins that might be willing to overpay. They won't do it because they've already told Joe Burrow they're taking him, but I think they're already taking him because that's what you're supposed to do. Let's get you to Dan Byer, find out what else is going on. DB, what do you got?
Exactly, we got a lot to get to. Let's start out with baseball because it is the big news of the day. The Red Sox are being stripped of a second-round pick for their sign-stealing scandal in 2018. Major League Baseball saying that most of the onus goes on a Red Sox video replay operator who seemed to be the main culprits in the sign-stealing scandal. Commissioner Rob Manfred in the report said he believes that most of the Red Sox players, the front office, and then manager Alex Cora were not aware of the plot to steal signs during games, and they found no evidence that this sign-stealing plot occurred during the 2018 postseason or the 2019 season.
Only during the regular season. Remember, you only use things that help you become a better hitter in the regular season, not when it actually matters.
Now, the penalties, Red Sox docked a second-round pick, former manager Alex Cora, suspended through the 2020 season, but for what he did with the Astros, not what he did with the Boston Red Sox, because according to Manfred, he didn't do anything with the Red Sox. Replay operator J.T. Watkins suspended without pay for 2020 and won't be allowed to work in the replay room in 2021. Rob Gronkowski today meeting the press the day after he was traded by the Patriots to the Buccaneers following his unretirement. He was asked about the possibility of unretiring and going back to New England.
At that moment in time, I was still up in the air too. Like, I really didn't know if I was going to go or not. Really wasn't sure if I wanted to play. I had a little fire underneath me, but it would have definitely been an opportunity I would have looked at for sure.
That's the best non-answer that you can get. The NFL Network says the Dolphins looking to trade up to number 3 in the draft, and now for a quarterback, maybe having their eyes on an offensive tackle. Giants are at 4. Lions are currently at 3. Saints head coach Sean Payton wiping out the team's entire offseason program. And retired wide receiver Percy Harvin told ESPN he's interested in returning to football after not playing the last 3 seasons. Doug, back to you.
Doug Gottlieb Show, Fox Sports Radio. Chris Sims, you see him on Football Night in America. He's awesome, former quarterback, left-handed, and played for John Gruden. Let me start with Joe Burrow. You always tell us when we talk to you, give me some time. I really need to evaluate the college guys. Now that you evaluated everybody, what do you think about Joe Burrow?
Well, Joe Burrow's like the cleanest film, I've ever seen. There, at least the last 6, 7, 8 years since I've been in this business and really been studying draft guys this time of the year. And yeah, man, I'm sorry I haven't been on more often and we haven't been able to talk a little bit more ball. It's just some weird times and my life got thrown for a loop too. But, I mean...
Everything okay, Chris? Everything okay, dude?
Oh, yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. I just feel bad, that we lost our little routine. So I just want you to still like me. That's all. I'm just making sure.
We're good. We're always
okay, good.
We're always good.
Good. But, with the Joe Burrow thing, he really reminds me of Peyton Manning in a lot of ways. His ability to process information, go through reads, flip from one side of the field and see that side of the field in a split second, make a decision and make a big-time throw. It's off the charts. Let alone, Doug, the other thing I'll just tell you is LSU's pass protection was horrible. And you know me, I'm big into if there's nothing there, what is your quarterback going to do? Because if you're a top pick of the draft, your team's not going to be good, as we've heard Peyton Manning tell Joe Burrow. You're going to have to make plays by yourself at times. And man, I know Burrow has talent around him, but there is so many games and so many plays where the pocket breaks down and he either dances around the pocket with people around him and makes high-level, big-time throws down the field and puts it on the screws, or escapes the pocket and runs. And really, it's flawless from that standpoint. His arm was a little stronger. I think his weakest thing he does is throw the deep ball.
And he said, no, his arm's much arm at all.
Arm, too. That's how I look at it. You know, it's never going to go down. A good arm, that isn't off the chart. So, no, you know, no disrespect.
Tua's got a lot of believers, but there are... I think he's a little bit more athletic than he is, and not big.
Right.
What's your eval?
I'm going to tell you, it's clean slate. First off, I don't think he's a top 10. Not top-flight talent there. You know, he's a really good quarterback. He has a good arm. He's a good athlete, but not great. You're right. I think people think he's going to come into the league and be Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson. I just want to go, no, everybody. Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray are arguably the fastest guys on their team. In a lot of games, they're the fastest people on the field, and they still have a hard time scrambling at times. So that's not going to happen. Now you get into the injury conversation, and Doug, you hit the nail on the head. First off, we have all the injury issues. There's a lot of rumors that go out there right now, you know, people that I trust that say he's going to need another ankle surgery, another cleanup type of procedure. But then the way he plays, like you said, with playing very small, you know, I can't tell you how many plays I watched of Tua, and I went, ooh, did he hurt his knee? Ooh, did he hurt his ankle? Oh my gosh, is his shoulder okay? I mean, it's every game a handful of times. And then, you know, again, I like the player. He's certainly a first-round pick, but I think everybody is not evaluating Tua. I think they're taking in, like, Alabama into this. And, you know, to me, that's where people mess up. And I know I've messed up in my history of quarterback evals and stuff like that. But I don't sit there and go, oh, man, look at him throw that slant to Henry Ruggs for 5 yards, and then he runs 70 yards. Oh, my gosh. Holy cow, how do you do that? Whoa, all the receivers on the right ran to the left, and they picked for the back coming out of the backfield, and he threw a 5-yard throw to the back who was wide open. And, I watch college football. Oh, my gosh, Tua, what a decision maker. And I'm going to go, what? There was only one person to throw to. The play was for that guy. He didn't have to do anything. So, you know, I'm more mad at some of the evaluators who have just painted this picture of a guy that, oh, he's the number one pick. And now I look like the jerk who's got to, like, go against it. And, yeah, I just don't see top 5 talent. Of course, the injuries concern me. And he, to me, is the enigma of the draft. Where does he go? Because there is going to be some owner who's going to sit there, and I think Tua falls out of the top 10 for sure. But once he gets into the 10-20 range, it's going to be open for business for Tua. And who is that first owner that's just going to be sitting there going, oh, gosh, with Tua's still there, we got to get him. He's the best player in the draft. Is it Stephen Ross for the Dolphins? Is it Shaq Khan for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Those would be two at the top of my list that I think might bite the cheese on that one.
Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. That's the voice of Chris Sims. Okay, let me ask you about Chase Young. We've seen both of the Bosa's come out of Ohio State and be as good or better than advertised. You can make the argument Nick Bosa was the best player on the field for most of the Super Bowl. Is Chase Young better, different? Compare and contrast what he would bring to the Redskins if they stick with him at 2.
Yeah, well, he's very comparable to them. I mean, it's a physical freak who really has no weakness to his football game, has incredible play strength. And when I say that, I mean, you know, he can play the strong side of the formation and take on a tackle, tight end, double team, hold his ground and not have any issues. You know, he's a freak that way. And then, of course, in the explosive way as well. I don't think he's as naturally as gifted of a pass rusher as Nick Bosa was coming out. Nick Bosa's body, you know, just the way he's built, and he's got such thick legs, and of course he's well schooled because his brother and his dad and their NFL background, so where he was a little more advanced with some of his moves, pass rush moves and hand fighting and things like that. Chase Young is every bit as good of an athletic freak as either one of them. Actually, more of an athletic freak than either one of them. He's just not quite maybe as good as bending around the edge as both of them. And then he just needs to learn from some coaches and from other NFL players on how to use, you know, a variety of pass rush moves, how to use his hands and upper body and things like that to give himself a little advantage. But, I mean, this is, you know, hey, Jabril Peppers, Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett, you know, this is one of those guys that just comes around every, 4 or 5 years where you just go, he's the freakiest of the freakiest, and this is a no-brainer.
What can we expect from Gronk? And I say that because Look, Gronkowski's a great player, but the last time he played, he had become more of a blocker, obviously made some huge catches on third down, and I know that he lost weight while not playing football. He's going to have to gain some of that weight back, which he said he's already gained 10 of the 20 pounds he wants to gain back.
Right.
It's like, to me, it's like a car that he was in and out of the shop a lot, and now you put it in the garage for a year and you break it out and you're like, well, we got new tires, we got new brake pads. It's still a car that's been on the road for 130,000 miles. Like, how much is left in that tank?
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. It really is. It's a great analogy. And, yes, I don't think they're going to have to be a little careful with him. I don't think they can just go, like, unleash the Gronk, and he's going to play 70 snaps a game. And if they do that, then I don't think he'll make it through the year. You're right. There's the injuries he had, too. They're not like, oh, you just swipe them under the rug, and, hey, that's football. Sometimes you get a few, dings here and there. No. The knee, the back, the elbow, were serious, life-changing type injuries. That's what they were. So I do think there'll be a little bit of a pitch count as far as how many plays he plays every game. And then, they'll watch what he does in practice. The big thing to me is he can be almost an ambassador and a hype man for Brady in the locker room, too. Just one other guy to change the culture. The first time Brady lays into the O-line or the offense for being crappy during practice, Gronk will be able to go in the locker room and go, hey, listen, guys, don't worry. He still likes this Tom Brady. This is what he does. He expects everybody to be great every day. He'll be great that way. Of course, the example he'll be able to set for the rest of the football team. He gives you attitude. And then, of course, as we know, even though he's not like what he was, like you said, 3 or 4 years ago, they're going to use him, I would expect, as a situational mismatch nightmare, which he's always been. Hey, it's third down, or it's 2nd and 7, or 2nd and 6. We don't know if they're going to throw or run. Oh, man, Gronk's in the game. He's a great run blocker. Oh, no, they put him out to the right, and now we got to put a linebacker on him one-on-one. And, man, you're going to leave Mike Evans and Chris Godwin one-on-one on the other side? What do we do here? That's where they're going to really put people into a bind. Let alone, I think he's going to be an incredible red zone target for Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team.
So do you think it works?
I think it works. I don't expect Gronk to put up huge stats. I would be shocked if it's, 500-600 yards receiving, but it might be 7, 8, 9 touchdown receptions off of that. So, yes, from that standpoint, if that's what you get out of it, it does work.
Okay, what about what's left behind in New England? You've worked there, you know those guys. Do you think they freak out and move up and draft a Tua, who you have questions about? Do you think they stand pat? What are your thoughts on a team now who is very much in transition in New England?
Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to fall off earth. That was still, the number 1 defense in football last year. Let's not forget that. So they're still there. That secondary is still there. I'm sure they'll play through that defense to a degree once again. They have a plan, I can tell you that. They always do. I don't envision a move just from, hey, listen, knowing people up in New England, I think, from everything I've heard and been told, Belichick and company really like Jarrett Stidham, and they think they can win football games with him. And I don't think Tua is their cup of tea. One, hey, again, of course, the injury risk and all of that, and New England's shown a history of not, they don't play games with that type of stuff, at least not my experience when I was there. And the other thing is, Belichick believes in the traditional pocket passing type quarterback. As we've seen, whether it's, of course, he was there in New York with my dad, the Phil Sims, he was with Ryan Mallett, other guys that were just big guys where you just said, man, they could throw it through a wall. If I could teach them a little accuracy, maybe I could make something of them. So I just don't think Tua is his cup of tea there from that standpoint. And, they're still going to play a pocket passing type football game. And to me, that was one of the biggest issues I had with Tua. Hey, yeah, when the pocket was great, and he got 4 around him, and did he make it was a master at that.
Justin Herbert is a guy that he looks the part, like a cutout of what a guy's supposed to look like and throw.
Right.
He'd be that guy. What's missing?
Well, I don't think anything's missing. I think really everything that's missing is just okay, yeah, he was kind of in a crappy offense in Oregon, not a ton of talent around him. okay? And, I watch a lot of games, and he drops back to pass, and I go, okay, yeah, it's not pretty, but where do you guys want us to throw the ball here? Everybody's covered. There's nothing to do. So I think he's an incredible athlete. Of course, I think size is a skill because it allows you to do things in the pocket, like Cam Newton can do things in the pocket that some of the small quarterbacks can't do. Tom Brady the same way. And the arm is special. I mean, it's a big-time arm. And, I hear people saying, oh, I don't know if he can throw with anticipation. That's like the kind of crap I heard about, like, Patrick Mahomes coming out in the draft. Like, he didn't always have to throw with anticipation. I saw enough on film to know he can do that type of stuff, whether it was deep crosses or corner routes or things like that, where he's got touch and can do all those types of things. So I think he's got a chance. Honestly, Doug, I think he has the highest ceiling out of all the quarterbacks. I do. I think him and Jordan Love are in that conversation where I would be surprised a few years from now if we were sitting here and go, Justin Herbert's in the conversation for one of the best quarterbacks in football. I do. But people are scared because he's not real, like, alpha, pound your chest, loud mouth, leader type. He's never been outside of Eugene, Oregon. I've been around him. He's a very nice kid. Yes, he's going to lead by example. He loves the game. He had the highest Wonderlic score, I believe, out of any of the quarterbacks in the draft, so he's very smart. But I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I hear rumors that, with Miami right at 5, that they might pass up Herbert and not take a quarterback and maybe try to get Tua later in the first round, or maybe not even try to get Tua at all, and make draft picks and then maybe trade up late in the first round and try to get Jordan Love and have him sit behind Ryan Fitzpatrick for a year. So I think all of those options are on the table for the Miami Dolphins. To me, that's the most intriguing thing of this draft so far.
Awesome stuff. Chris, great to finally catch up with you. I hope you, your family, your dad, everybody's healthy in Jersey and in Connecticut, and thanks so much for being our guest.
Hey, anytime, man. You want to do this next week, I'm down.
All right, let's do it. I got him locked in there. That's Chris Sims, Football Night in America. Why Rob Gronkowski says going to the Buccaneers is like going to Applebee's. That's next.
This is the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. While you enjoy your self-imposed staycation, just want to make you do something crazy. Don't forget to podcast us. We're continually updating our content because no matter how difficult things seem to be, we're here to help fill the void. This is Fox Sports Radio.
You guys have heard me talk about Norton 360 with LifeLock, a cyber safety solution to help protect your device's identity and online privacy. And while cybersecurity is important right now, I want to tell you something really special that Norton LifeLock is doing. With kids going online more for schoolwork and entertainment right now, it's important to keep them safe when they're connected. And as a company that's dedicated to your cyber safety, Norton LifeLock wants to do their part to help. That's why they're giving away 6 months of Norton Family for free. It helps you monitor your kids' online activities, blocks unsuitable sites while your kids are surfing the internet, lets you see what websites, search terms, videos, and Android apps they are downloading, helps your kids avoid accidentally giving out sensitive personal information like your phone number or address, and more. Norton LifeLock is committed to help keep your family safer online. Get Norton Family for 6 months for free. No payment information is required. Sign up today at norton.com/family. That's norton.com/family or 6 months free.
Cultivators of the cul-de-sac. Run with us on the John Deere X370 Select Series lawn tractor. Because yard work is about more than just mowing. It's about moments that last a lifetime. Like when your daughter Emily has a shot at making wiffle ball history on her home turf. And that's why the X370 leaves nothing to chance. With one-touch mulch control technology and attachments for every season. So Emily can knock it out of the park. This is more than just grass. It's stuff legends are made of. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere X300 for more.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss. You've worked hard building up your retirement nest egg, but will it provide the income you need to have a comfortable retirement? Do you have the right investment mix? Stocks, bonds, cash. What about annuities or real estate? If you have $500,000 or more, all for Fisher Investments free guidance to get That's 1-800-885-7766. Are facing new challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. So to help, we put together the Radio Small Business Crisis Resource, which has critical information, including links to federal and state resources.
resources, providing businesses with stimulus loans, grants, and other financial aid. We also shine a spotlight on small businesses doing good.
You never took your Easy Pass out of your car.
What's that?
You never took your Easy Pass out of your car.
How do you figure?
Because
What do you mean?
It went off.
I don't know. I got it in my center console here. I don't know.
What you have to do, I can't bypass it now. You have to do, same thing I had to do, but you have to wrap it in aluminum foil. The only thing that stops it. They put these high test suckers in and nothing works. You have to wrap it in aluminum foil.
All right.
Sorry, Bev.
Yep.
Together, and we will get through this. For more information, check out fedlive.gov/coronavirus. This is a test of the emergency alert system. If this goes into emergency response. This is only a test.
And now get your first online doctor's visit free at 4hands.com. That's right, zero copay, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. That's really good news. To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, 4hands.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/joy. At a young age, I learned how fragile life is. When I was 11 years old, my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. As the oldest child, I quickly became her secondary caregiver, which has forever shaped me. We helped my mom through multiple recurrences for 4 years before losing her to this devastating disease. At the time, treatment options were limited. All we could do was retreat with chemotherapy and watch and wait and hope. It was so hard for us to hear that the doctors thought they had it, but truly didn't. My time with my mom was cut short. But now, women living with recurrent ovarian cancer have options like maintenance therapies, which can extend their time of response and delay recurrence. These options mean power in an otherwise powerless situation. That's why I stand together with care partners and women living with ovarian cancer to declare Not On My Watch. Visit notonmywatch.com to learn more.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM. WWE is underway. Friday nights on Fox. Each and every week, catch all the superstars, all the action. It's Friday Night SmackDown, only on Fox. Broadcasting live from the studios of Fox Sports Radio, here's Doug Gottlieb.
Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. Every day at this time, we get you caught up on the stories today. We get to the press.
The press.
Lance Zierlein will join us tomorrow, give us his final draft predictions, as well as we'll catch up with Brandon Wheaton, who will continue to kind of break down some tape and give us his thoughts on these quarterbacks, he being a former first-round pick. Get your free credit scorecard day. If you're not a Discover customer, includes your FICO credit score. Checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. Dan Byer?
Doug, the big news today we touched on earlier, Red Sox getting their penalties from Major League Baseball. Backed a second-round pick, former skipper Alex Cora, banned for a year. The replay operator who was the main culprit in their sign-stealing scandal It's a 2-year ban, basically. So those are the penalties handed out to the Red Sox.
The replay guy, he's the bad guy.
Rob
You got to have a fall guy.
Rob Gronkowski met members of the media today for the first time since he was traded by the Patriots to the Buccaneers and explained, I guess in a way, of a main course sort of deal on why he's back with the Buccaneers.
It just happened to be the right opportunity, I feel like, down in Tampa. Yes, Tom is definitely, he was like the appetizer of the whole meal, you know. He got me hooked when he went down to Tampa.
So Tom Brady, your mozzarella sticks. Roger that. According to Gronk.
If you have to have one traditional app, is it mozzarella sticks? You got chips and salsa, you got mozzarella sticks, calamari, what else?
Yes, mine would be
you have
cheese curds, obviously, from where I am, but
cheese curds,
the spin-off is, mozzarella sticks.
Better than spinach artichoke dip.
Yes.
Okay. Music, you agree? Disagree?
I would go calamari. I'm a big fan of the fried calamari.
Calamari. Calamari is by definition fried. All right, what else you got?
News just in.
It's like I like the fried French fries.
I was going to go wings, but now wings are such a main course deal that it's not even really an appetizer. Got some Tom Brady news. ESPN is saying that a golf match, we talked about this maybe a month or so ago, but there will be a golf match with Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. It is reportedly being held next month, according to ESPN. It could air on Memorial Day weekend, but it will be televised by TNT. It's going to be a match that they hope to raise funds for COVID-19 relief. But that match that was talked about a month or two ago looks like it's going to go on next month.
Memorial Day weekend feels like a terrible weekend to have it. I just, as much as we're all stuck in our houses, by then I would say, God willing, and hopefully we're all out of the house. And then once we're all out, we're all out. Nobody's going to be watching TV. I speed this thing up and get that thing next weekend.
The event is going to be held likely in Florida, according to the report. How about this report? Sportsnet in Canada broke it yesterday. The NHL is looking at playing each division in one separate city and not having a neutral site where all their games would be played. The plan would be to have each division in 4 separate cities to finish the regular season. Edmonton was thought of as one place to go. St. Paul would be another one, where you would have the NHL teams going to 4 cities to try to wrap up the regular season. And then figuring out a playoff.
Okay.
Ty Lue wants back in. The Clippers assistant reportedly interested in the Nets head coaching job, according to the New York Daily News.
Yeah, and it makes it a little less murky than firing their coach. And obviously he's got his connection with Kyrie is obvious, and he has the respect around the league. It's one of those, in order to win a title, you have to have the respect show for you. So just go foxsportsradio.com wherever you are. All Ball podcast stops tomorrow. That's me and Mark Price. We talk about The Last Dance and some other stuff you don't want to miss. This is the Doug Gottlieb Show. You check things all the time. Your email, your ex's IG. But what about checking something that's important to your credit? Discover makes it quick and easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores, score used by 90% of top lenders, for free, even if you're not a customer. Checking your score won't hurt your credit, and you can check each month for changes. The Discover Credit Scorecard, free to everyone. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? How about 40%? With Allstate, safe drivers can save 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe. Visit Allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote today and see just how much you can save when you drive safe with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Savings vary based on drive lines and other safe driving discounts. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
This report is sponsored by Allstate.
So looking at quite a bit of volume here in Schenectady along State Street in both directions. 890 little volume on the westbound side near Erie Avenue, and the eastbound side coming into the Thruway. Thruway itself a pretty good ride, east, west, north, and south, up and down the Northway. That's a pretty good ride, and no complaints on 787 from the WGY Price Chopper Marker 32 Traffic Center. I'm Mike Barker.
With an Allstate agent, you get a local expert and help finding the best coverage for you. And because they live in your community, you can always count on them to be there when you need them most. Plus, when you bundle home and auto, you can save. So call your local Allstate agent today. Are you in good hands? The American Diabetes Association is monitoring the spread of COVID-19 or coronavirus closely and producing resources to keep you updated and to provide you with actions you can take now to reduce your risk of contracting COVID-19 and to help you know what to do if you get it. You can find those, along with real-time updates and answers to some of the most frequently asked questions about COVID-19 and diabetes at diabetes.org/coronavirus or on facebook.com/TDC Capital Region.
The Capital Region's new car dealers are long-standing community businesses and are here to help our customers get through this trying time. Our service and parts departments, collision and body shop centers, and vehicle sales by remote or electronic means have been classified as essential, and most are currently open for you. We are all practicing the proper Contact our dealerships to schedule sales appointments or service for a safe check-in, drop-off, or pickup process. Be safe and know that we are here for you and your vehicle questions or concerns.
Brought to you by any car and this radio station.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Coupling the coronavirus pandemic with consultation with a healthcare provider
means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And HIMS makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free when you go to 4hims.com/joy. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. HIMS connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. HIMS makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to HIMS, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/joy. Portions of the following program will be recorded. Fire up your TV on. It's time for your TV tip-off.
This is WCBS and WCBS-FM HD2 New York.
Governor Cuomo says the Tri-State will work together on a test and trace program for COVID-19. Former Mayor Mike Bloomberg will run it and contribute $10 million. New York City hospitals will get more than $4 billion in federal aid. Governor Murphy worries federal aid won't be coming to states hard hit by COVID-19. 2 pet cats test positive for the virus in New York. Sports, MLB strips the Red Sox of a second-round draft pick and suspends their video replay operator for stealing signs in 2018. Sunny, breezy, 50 degrees on Wednesday, April 22nd. Good evening, I'm Michael Wallace. CBS News next.
More than just the headline. This is WCBS News Radio 880.
It's 6 o'clock.
CBS News on the hour, sponsored by Dell Small Business.
I'm Matt Piper in Washington. The United States has surpassed 46,000 coronavirus deaths. At the current rates, deaths here could reach 50,000 by week's end. We are awaiting President Trump to begin his daily coronavirus task force briefing, but during an earlier Earth Day event at the White House, he hinted at his disdain for how China handled the virus in the beginning stages.
We continue to mourn the precious souls who have been lost, so sadly lost, and so unnecessarily lost. It should have been stopped, and it should have been stopped right where it started, and everyone knows where it started.
We also learned today the first virus death in the U.S. occurred weeks earlier than previously believed. Someone in California died February 6th, weeks earlier than the February 29th Washington state death. A doctor says he was removed from his federal post after questioning a drug that President Trump has been praising for weeks. Hydrochloroquine is a name Mr. Trump has been mentioning at a number of news briefings, and just yesterday, scientists announced that they found no benefit for COVID-19 patients who took the drug as a remedy.
More now from correspondent Pam Coulter.
A leading expert on vaccine development, Dr. Rick Wright, says he was forced to take a less impactful position after he pressed for a rigorous vetting of the coronavirus treatment touted by President Trump. He said he's speaking out because to combat this deadly virus, science, not politics, has to lead the way. His attorneys say Wright's reassignment is retaliation pure and simple, and they'll push to keep him in his job pending the investigation.
On the same day, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced he is loosening the state's stay-at-home order to let hospitals resume scheduled surgeries. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced temporary layoffs for nearly 3,000 state workers.
I've made a lot of hard choices in the past 6 weeks. This was one of the hardest.
It's for 2 weeks. She'll then reassess if it needs to continue. As the House is set to vote tomorrow on the same stimulus relief package the Senate voted on yesterday, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says there should not be a fifth bill until it's assured that the money already out there is doing what it's meant to do.
I think what's very important here, having passed a number of bills that we've already passed and another bill with more than $400 billion coming up on Thursday, we should have all that implemented. Let's make sure that money goes out correctly before we go start to craft another one.
If passed in the House sometime tomorrow, President Trump says he will sign it. It was a solid day on Wall Street today. The Dow gained 456, NASDAQ added 232, S&P up 62. This is CBS News.
Dell Technologies advisors are here to help businesses work remotely with unparalleled collaboration solutions like Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
Your news, live and local. This is WCBS News Radio 880, a radio.com station.
It's the warm and sunny here in Lower Manhattan, down to the freezing mark tonight with some frost developing overnight in some suburbs. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, rain develops late in the afternoon. Tomorrow's high again near 50. It's 6:03 at WCBS. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut will recruit an army to trace and test those who have come in contact with coronavirus patients. Former Mayor Mike Bloomberg will develop the program. WCBS's Rich Lamb has the latest from Governor Cuomo.
Governor Cuomo announced the former mayor and recent presidential candidate will head a tri-state tracing army, basically disease detectives, charged with tracking down and isolating contacts with anyone who has tested COVID positive.
We're going to take the initial tracers that people have now. The state has about 225 today. Rockland is 40, Westchester is 50, Nassau 60, New York City 200. They're going to work together. Mayor Bloomberg is going to start with that core, but we have to build on that because we will literally need thousands.
By the way, Bloomberg is donating north of $10 million to the enterprise, and Johns Hopkins is also involved. To local politicians who are pressuring him to reopen the state, Cuomo declares,
"This is not going to be over anytime soon. I know people want out. I get it. I know people want to get back to work. I know people need a paycheck."
But he adds, "I also know more people will die if we are not smart." Rich Lamb, WCBS News Radio 880.
New York hospitals will receive more than $4 billion in federal aid earmarked for coronavirus hotspots. Senator Chuck Schumer says hospitals primarily in the city and Long Island will get the money over the next few days. The money is part of the $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief package signed by President Trump last month. Despite signs of progress in New Jersey, health officials say the crisis is far from over there. The state reported close to 96,000 confirmed cases now. More than 5,000 of those patients have died. WCBS reporter Kevin Rincon says on top of all of that, long sought after financial aid from the feds might not be coming.
As of now, the curve has remained flat in New Jersey. It hasn't dipped just yet, so it will take a while before we see the economy reopen. To survive this, Governor Murphy and others have called on Congress to provide direct federal assistance. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, in an interview Wednesday morning, said he would rather cities and states go through bankruptcy.
Come on, man. That is completely and utterly irresponsible.
Governor Murphy says doing nothing would hurt Americans in New Jersey and throughout the country.
We won't go bankrupt, Senator, but we will leave our citizens in the lurch at their most profound hour of need. We will leave people on the beach alone, helpless.
This week, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez and Louisiana's Senator Bill Cassidy introduced a bill that would set aside $500 billion for cities and states hard hit by COVID-19.
Above 15 virus relief package. He says 15,000 small businesses were frozen out of the last round of loans when the Paycheck Protection Program. Lamont says he believes Connecticut will be in good shape in the current fiscal year because of the state's $2.5 billion in reserves. Mayor de Blasio says New York City will be expanding its own testing and contact tracing in the coming weeks.
The mayor says it will be a vast endeavor, hiring thousands of people and getting the protective equipment needed to test tens of thousands of New Yorkers.
We have to have all the building blocks in place. Even while we're fighting to get the testing we need, we have to have the building blocks in place, and that's what we're announcing today.
Those who test positive and cannot shelter at home will be put up in hotels where disease detectives will trace anyone they came in close contact with.
And it's a very straightforward concept. It's what you have deserved all along. Had there been the testing from day one, this is what we could have done so much more of at the very beginning to contain this disease, but now this is how we ultimately defeat this disease.
The mayor says there will be a particular focus on testing residents in public housing. 3 of the 6 new testing sites will be in NYCHA complexes in Harlem, Williamsburg, and Woodside. Marla Diamond, WCBS News Radio 880.
Now 2 pets have tested positive for COVID-19 in New York. That story in 3 minutes. Listen to Kelvin. What he's about to say could change your life.
I'm 6'2" and about 290. I lost weight fast. I trimmed down to about 235. I'm probably at about 9, maybe 10% body fat. That's great. I lost probably at least 60 pounds in probably 3.5, 4 months. Color of my hair's coming back. Skin looks better. Obviously gaining muscle. My muscle mass is coming back. Thank you for providing an awesome product. Somebody who actually has and does what they say they will. That's awesome.
That's great, Kelvin. Losing that belly fat in less than 4 months is outstanding. Since 2004, Andro 400 has been changing men's lives, like Kelvin, and can help you lose belly and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. All right, Michael, things are finally starting to ease out on the BQE and the Gowanus. We still have some delays southbound from the Williamsburg Bridge down through Cadman Plaza, and on the inbound Gowanus and northbound BQE from the Prospect up through Cadman Plaza, but all travel lanes open both ways. All the repair work from that early morning collision is now finally wrapped up. Still a little bit slow on the FDR Drive. As you get to the Brooklyn Bridge, we had earlier delays back toward Grand Street. They have now eased up. Still very slow across the Brooklyn Bridge and onto the southbound BQE, but again, all the travel lanes are open. Now, a couple of other problems on the FDR. Southbound, we're heavy. As you get toward Gracie Mansion, we have a tour bus, installed tour bus blocking one lane there, and then more delays getting toward the 59th Street Bridge. We had a crash there. That has now been cleared. We go to the Hutch, southbound, the Mamaroneck Road. Everything is still shut there. We had a tractor trailer get onto the roadway, not supposed to be there, struck the overpass, so they're still working there on the Hutch. In Connecticut, on the Merritt, southbound, still shut between 48 and 47 in Trumbull with an overturned vehicle there, and in Nassau County, southern states, still loaded up both ways. In for exit 18, Eagle Avenue, 2 separate crashes, 1 eastbound, 1 westbound, still not yet cleared. I'm Tom Kaminsky in the WCBS Traffic Center. Craig Allen is in the Weather Center with a chilly forecast tonight.
It definitely is, and just before I get into that, I do want to mention something that just came out here from the National Weather Service. You know, the water spouts that were off the Jersey Shore, off Ocean in Monmouth County, that was confirmed, obviously, with video. And another thing that was just confirmed with video after the Weather Service got a chance to look at it, something, new terminology for you, something called a gustnado. And what that is, it's not necessarily a tornado, it's the flow, the wind, the strong winds that come down from a thunderstorm and they start to swirl around. You know, think of the autumn when the leaves begin to swirl around in circles from a very gusty wind. Well, this was estimated at about 70, 75 miles per hour, and Fordham did actually report a 71 mile per hour wind, and it was moved across the Harlem River, just around the Broadway Bridge. So there's something new for you, and that was part of all the craziness that went on yesterday. Right back to the chilly weather tonight. 34 to 38, and with very light winds, it'll be in the 20s in the suburbs with areas of frost. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, a chance of rain developing by afternoon. By this time, tomorrow afternoon, around 50, and then off and on rain and drizzle for Thursday night as well as Friday. Here in the city, it's 51, humidity just 20%, but westerly winds are still gusting up close to 30 miles per hour.
A good name for a band, Gus NATO.
Gus NATO. Kaminsky might like that.
All right, thank you, Craig. The 2 pet cats have tested positive for coronavirus in New York. They're the first confirmed cases of cats in the nation. The CDC believes the cats got the virus from their owners or people in their neighborhoods. They had mild respiratory illnesses, these 2 cats. They are expected to recover. Some animals can get the virus from people, but there's no indication animals can give it to humans. 6:11 at WCBS.
With Advanced Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts and stuff, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advanced Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advanced Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, we always have been and always will be committed to our local communities because we're here to help others. So in this time of need, your local Ace remains open. And since we're in your neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for the home or yard products you're looking for. And choose from top brands like Steel, Ego, Toro, and Scott's. Then you can pick up in store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your door. Help is just around the block. See AceHardware.com for details.
6:12 at WCBS. Now a check of sports. Major League Baseball finally announced its punishment for the Red Sox stealing signs in 2018. It was light in comparison to what the Astros got. MLB found former Red Sox manager Alex Cora, his coaching staff, and the players were unaware that replay operator J.T. Watkins was using video to update pregame information. Watkins was suspended for 2020. The Red Sox also have to forfeit a second-round draft pick. Cora has been suspended for the 2020 season, although the Red Sox had already fired him. Notre Dame's legendary women's basketball coach Muffet McGraw has retired after 33 years. She led the Fighting Irish to a pair of national championships and the Final Four 9 times. She was a 3-time National Coach of the Year. WCBS News Time, 6:13.
With Herbert, and this is a little bit like, this is not unlike Josh Allen. A couple of years ago, where there are issues there when you watch the tape, and there are issues there that don't come up with Tua or Burrow. So, really, if you're drafting Justin Herbert, you're betting on 2 things. You're betting A, on his physical ability, which is off the chart.
And he's a big man.
And then B, you're betting on your ability to fix what's wrong. And there are some people who look at things like anticipation and accuracy and say you can't fix that. There are other people who will say, yes, you can fix that if you work on it mechanically. So that's, again, like, Justin Herbert is like a lot of quarterbacks you've seen come into the league that have this sort of physical ability where it's just so much of it comes down to how quickly you think you can actually fix.
Do you believe any of these rumors about Gruden and a quarterback? Do you believe any of these rumors about the Patriots and a quarterback?
So the Patriots have so many holes. And it sounds weird because they've been so successful, but they've got goals. The roster, the cap situation is a problem. They're going to be carrying a lot of dead money on their cap this year. My understanding is they're looking at it as sort of a clear the decks year, where they can kind of go into 2021 with a clean slate.
And they can afford one, that's for sure.
Right, and if they can bite the bullet this year,
right.
I do think they like trade, and they wouldn't be adverse to going to sit them in 2020 and seeing how that goes. If Tua were to start falling, is it the craziest thing in the world? Do you think they could stab at him? No, because as much as I would tell you that it goes against a lot of the things the Patriots do. He's a smaller player. He's, obviously has the injury history, all that different stuff. I know Bill has power to say we're just big part of this, right? Because there are some...
Sure. I mean, listen, he can do whatever he wants, yeah.
Right. I mean, there are some places, it's like there's some places where the coach can't overrule the doctor.
Absolutely. Some places where the coach is in a tough spot. There he can do whatever he wants, obviously.
Right. So there's that. And there's also what you mentioned, which is how highly Nick Saban thinks of this kid.
Right.
And, like, for most guys, here's the thing, like, most guys, if you're the first player in Miami and you draft Tua 5th overall, you're literally tying your livelihood to him.
Absolutely. Right? You'll get fired if he gets hurt.
Right. Okay, if you're Bill, you can take that risk, and
of course.
you're not as worried. You're not as worried about that, And If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
What about Gruden in this thing? I've heard rumors about Gruden being in. You always hear rumors about Gruden anyway, so, you never know what he's going to do.
And Gruden's always sort of got wandering eyes when it comes to quarterbacks, right? So that's sort of, I think, again, they sort of look at Derek Carr as, he's a nice placeholder. They feel like they can win with him. They'll be looking for an upgrade until they find one. I think it's sort of the way you want to look at that. And, look, Tua has some of the things that Derek Carr does. He moves better, he plays better, he's tougher, gets hurt more, of course, but there's a lot of things with Tua where you can look at him and say, it's hard coaching. There's a lot of things you can look at with Tua, and you can say, he's got some of the stuff that Gruden feels like is missing in Carr, and so maybe he would take a swing on him. I don't know what Gruden would do if Tua fell into his lap at 12 or 19, and he spotted Tua close a little bit.
What about Jackson doing this whole thing?
I've heard Jacksonville wants to trade back out of 9 and maybe trade out 2021, and they're another team that's got a cap problem.
And it could be trading a couple of their big stars anyway. They got unhappy players there.
Right, and this is sort of, I think, and look, I think ownership should try part of this, where this is sort of they're clear the decks here too, and so, I think that they'd be of a mind to just sort of start building capital, for next year.
Right, and you have a kid next year at the top of the draft who is a essential casting, 6'6", guy. He's going to have an Elway lost Aikman grade.
Right, and so I think that the Jacksonville's a team where you look at it and say, is that the Trevor Lawrence team? Is that the team that's going to start to set things up where they got a cap issue this year, they got to ride some dead money out, but once they get out of it, maybe they're drafting really high next year and they've got a boatload of place to put people around them. Definitely I would say there's a perception out there across the league with different teams that Jacksonville is sort of the Trevor Lawrence team going into this draft.
We're talking about Abu course draft tomorrow night. We'll have a draft preview show at 6, and then the draft coverage on the Fan at 7. Same thing Friday night, both nights 6 to 7. Scott Pioli will join me both nights, and we'll have some reporters bouncing in and out too, telling us what's going on. Giants, gun to your head, offensive tackle is 4, right? I think we all think that. You think Wirfs first? Is that what you think?
That'd be my guess, and I'll tell you why. I think Beckman's too risky. His tape's inconsistent. He's got a weight issue. He fits to some degree what Gettleman's looked for in the past, and that Gettleman likes big players. But I think he's just too risky, especially when you're talking about setting up a coach with his first draft pick. So I don't think it'll be Beckman. I think Wills and Wirfs will both be in play.
Any chance he takes one of the defenders?
I don't think so. I think it's probably a tackle. And I'll tell you this, the reason I'm getting it more is just, you know how the Patriots tree, how they use their coaching connections, right?
Yep.
In Iowa, 2 programs that are tied closely to that Bill Belichick program.
No question.
What I've heard is that the Iowa coaches are higher on Wirfs than the Alabama coaches are on Wills.
Oh, no, listen, they love, Iowa loves the kid. They do, and everyone loves Forensic players anyway, so we know that.
And he's a good kid, and he's coming from a good program, and the guys, they've got a long history of producing very good.
Excellent. Yeah, tight ends and tackles are big, and offensive linemen for them. Tight ends and offensive linemen are very big for them. Who's the sleeper player? Who's the player who we may not have heard a lot about, who jumps up the board and goes early? Anybody?
There are a couple. I think, so one guy who, I don't feel like a lot of people publicly have talked about, the team seemed to love, is the safety from Alabama, Xavier McKinney. He's versatile, he's a great kid, he's smart. He's sort of a 21st century player. Now, he didn't run great in Indy, right? He ran like a 4.6, but the tape is so good this year, and he's able to do so many different things for you. I've heard some real Thomas comparisons.
Wow.
He is one of these guys that, and I'd say there were 3 in this year's class. Okay, I'd say number 1, the first pick just hit it right in the middle of the fairway. Xavier McKinney's another, and then the third would captain spree within a few years. And so, I'd be surprised if Love went much higher than you've seen him. Now, again, like, he's a sort of prospect. Like, there's a little Mahomes to him, and I mean, poor man Mahomes. But there's a little Mahomes in him in that he's like sort of an acquired taste, and certain people like him more than other people. And so, I think the teams that do like him have tried to keep that under wraps a little bit. And in 2017, that led to Mahomes going higher than anybody thought he would, because the Chiefs got wind that the Saints liked him.
Like, you're gentleman.
I think they take a tackle in all likelihood. I would keep an eye on C.J. Henderson, the corner from Florida. If it's not a receiver, I mean, maybe it's a receiver, but...
Who's the first receiver off the board in your mind? They're all close. Who do you like? Which one's the first one off?
Jerry Jeudy, I would think, is going to be the first one off the board to the Raiders. I think Henry Ruggs and CeeDee Lamb will be right there, though.
So all three are close.
I think all three go between 11 and 20. I mean, it's not impossible to just wind up with one of them. I think that Joe Douglas would rather address, I think, what he considers more of a value position. So offensive tackle, corner, I think could be a play. And
one last thing, and listen, we want to hold you this, but I just want to get, because this is really the theme of the day. If you gave me today, and I know how changeable this is, what number does Tua go in a draft?
Gun to my head, I'll say 6 to the Chargers.
6 to the Chargers. Thanks for your help. Enjoy your day tomorrow, Albert. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike.
But Bria, we didn't break, so we will just say goodbye now, and then you can get on to Susan at 6:30, and then what's coming up at 7. They have the charity event coming up from Jersey. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 with our NFL preview show, draft show. We'll start at 6. Scott Fioli and some reporters will be with us at the time. We will do that 6 to 7. Then they have a fan will have a draft coverage after 7. Both nights will be on 6 to 7 tomorrow night and Friday night. With the draft stuff, we'll be on radio.com at 5. We'll be on the fan tomorrow at 6 for an hour with draft coverage both days. Preview tomorrow and Friday. Casamigos Tequila, as always, brings you the program, brought to you by those who drink it on this Wednesday evening. Stay safe. We will see you tomorrow.
With a 10-10 Wins coronavirus update, I'm Susan Richard. Governor Cuomo taps former Mayor Mike Bloomberg to help come up with a program to contact trace people who tested positive. Folks who can't isolate.
You can count on us to keep you connected when it matters most, with reliable internet, phone, and businesses. And at Spectrum Business, we want to do more. That's why we're providing access to advertising resources, like a free video you can use in social media, on your website, or on TV. And we're providing visit business.spectrum.
Riley Auto Parts story. After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions. Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
I was 16, a budding athlete. Father Mike took notice. He said, let's start a youth group, handed me a beer, complimented my physique, and told me I was a leader. But he pretended to be concerned about my health and had to examine me. In 1980, nobody spoke of these situations. Today, that's not the case. I'm attorney Paul Barr. New laws in New York and New Jersey extend the time period survivors of childhood sexual abuse can seek justice, but that window can be short for some. Predators hide behind big religious or educational institutions, and Phillips and Palicelli is ready to hold them accountable. The clergy, school districts, hospitals. Were you abused? Now is the time to file a lawsuit, regardless of the time elapsed. I was a victim. I know what it's like. A lawyer at Phillips and Pellicelli between 8 a.m. and midnight every day. 1-877-8.
wants you to know how people feel about you.
This message is for my son, Dr. Gary Maida, who is a pediatric emergency room doctor at Maimonides Medical Center, who always puts himself last and
saying, please, saying, all of us right here at WFAN in New York City.
Not everything is closed. Here are just some people open for business. Old Glory Kitchen and Spirits in Keyport, Longfellow's Coffee in Kinnelon, Mr. Cupcakes in Clifton, Haley's Harp and Pub in Metuchen, Lacey's Bridge Tavern on Staten Island. If your company is open for business, let us know at WFAN.com/open for business. WFAN is helping New York stay connected. For more, go to radio.com/stay connected.
Okay, you know how it feels when you've saved enough for that long-awaited home edition? Now imagine an addition on that addition. That's the feeling with Capital One, where a new savings account earns an interest rate 5 times the national average. That's right, 5 times. As represented by 5 times more singers. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rates. Capital One NA member FDIC.
For the next half hour as we begin what should be a really fun night here on WFAN in spite of everything now, because we're going to throw the clocks back half a century. 50 years ago today, it was the very first birthday, and the Mets, who were the defending world champions at the time, had a game at Shea Stadium that afternoon against the second-year expansion team, the San Diego Padres, and what resulted was really one of the most dominant pitching performances in baseball history, turned in by Hall of Famer Tom Seaver. Now, Seaver received his Cy Young Award from the 1969 season prior to the game that afternoon. That in and of itself was a bit of an afterthought as Seaver went to work dominating the Padres, tying the Major League strikeout record for strikeouts in a game with 19, but maybe, perhaps even more significantly, he struck out the final 10 batters of the game. 10 straight strikeouts. It has not been done since. There have been several who have struck out 9 in a row. Nobody has matched Seaver's 10. Now, who earlier in the game had a forward off of Tom, one of the only 2 hits that Seaver would give up, and that accounted for the only San Diego run in that 2-1 Mets win. And one of the best parts of this whole night is coming up at 8 o'clock when we will rebroadcast the entire radio broadcast from that afternoon, featuring the original Mets announcers, Lindsey Nelson, Bob Murphy, and Ralph Kiner. For those of us who grew up listening to them, well, this is a treat in and of itself. For those of you who did not, it will be a great education and an opportunity to hear how radio presented baseball then. Not drastically different than how it is today, but there are some subtle differences I'm sure you'll pick up. That's coming up at 8. In between, at 7 o'clock, we've got the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fundraiser, Jersey for Jersey, with artists such as Bruce Springsteen, John Bon Jovi, and also Danny DeVito, and a whole lot more. That's going to be between 7 and 8, and then the rebroadcast at 8 p.m. But I mentioned the name Al Ferrara a moment ago. We're going to spend most of this half hour talking about not only that game with Al, but a whole lot of other stuff, because frankly, Al Ferrara, who is now 80 years old, is a bit of a Renaissance guy. He's a Brooklyn native, went to Lafayette High School, which of course produced Sandy Koufax, John Franco, Fred Wilpon. Koufax and Fred both were at Lafayette, and later on the Padres. Television show of its time, Brooklyn had all of that.
I think that closest. I know that he's about 40.
Tough as champion from early in the game to the end.
And this guy had my number. That's number one. I mean, throughout my career, I always said people would ask me about who I think. I thought they faced a left game, but all the time. I was a low fastball. and I couldn't handle the pitch. So I always had trouble with him. I saw the ball get off of it, but that top at the end of that fastball was the best I ever seen in the movement on that fastball. Now, that particular day, okay, I think in the second inning when I hit the home run, it must not have hot. I stayed down there with a low fastball and I hit it. But his forte, okay, was fantastic control, okay, over the fastball slider pitches that were sensational. And you know what? The great ones like him, okay, when they get in a groove, they're very difficult. They're very difficult to deal with.
So, was there anything that you saw from him in that game that set him apart from all of the other times that you faced him?
Well, no, I saw him towards the end of the game. That's when I saw the difference. Not in the early part of the game, he was doing to me and everybody else what he usually does. But towards the end of the game, remember I played with Sandy in Los Angeles, and when these great pitchers like Koufax and Seaver and Drysdale and Gibson, when they get their mind on something and they're shooting for something, they're going to get it. They're going to get it. So at the 7th and 8th inning came, especially the 8th inning when I was watching him, I said, because it reminded me of Sandy in the perfect game that I watched him pitch in 1965. When that 8th inning came around, I said, there's nobody going to hit him. He wants it. And the same thing here with Seaver. You could see late in the game that he had that stride where he hit his back foot or his back knee on the ground, and every pitch was release point was perfect. He was in a groove. He was in a fantastic groove. And don't forget, it was day game, so we had the shadows, but I only want to make this clear. That's no excuse. There's nobody going to hit him that day. Nobody.
Did you see the last pitch? Because I remarked to Mike Vaccaro on the post when we talked the other day, I'm amazed that Brody even saw the ball, given what the shadows were then, and Seaver, even though he was hitting the spots nearly in perfect fashion that day. Did you feel overmatched that last time up, or, you know, one swing away from tying the game? Was it just grip it and rip it, and you took your chances?
Look, when I went up to the plate, I know the fans are going with only about 14 or 15,000 fans on the staff, but it sounded like 400,000. They were going nuts. And you know, and in the situation, when I came up, I said, well, you know what, it's going to be either 2-2 or he's going to, whatever they're screaming about in the background, he's going to do it. But I said, I'm going for it. I'm going for the pump. It's going to be 2-2 or it's going to be all over. And I said, I know one thing. He's going to come at me. He's coming. And I remember the second pitch that he threw, I took for a strike. And, you know, I had a pretty good eye as a hitter. That I knew the strike zone. I thought it was a ball, but I didn't say a word. And I stepped out of the batter's box. And I said, I am not going to allow the umpire to call me out on a third strike because I can't see what's coming up here or what's happening, okay? He's not going to become the hero. It's going to be the pitcher or me, okay? So I went up there on that after I think it was a 1-2 count, and you remember, it's funny that you say that nobody could see the pitch. Remember, Seaver said it was a fastball. I thought it was a slider. I thought it was a fastball or movement on it down and away. So there are different views. He threw the pitch, so he must know what it was. Okay, but that's what it looked to me, and I wailed, I struck out, you walk back to the dugout, you go in the clubhouse, and you know what? You tip your cap off to a great Hall of Famer who did a great job.
Now, here's something that interests me, just being able to think back 50 years, because there was no electronic K-corner in the ballpark then. And I don't know, I mean, I was fortunate enough to be at the game, and I always had a scorecard, so I knew exactly what was going on in terms of the number of strikeouts, consecutive strikeouts. I don't know exactly how many people in that ballpark necessarily were aware of how many he had at that point, how many had come consecutively. Now, I know that your next days had to out 9 in a row before you made the last out.
Not really. I didn't know what what they were going crazy about in the stands. There was nothing on that I remember. Anyway, I don't look up there on the scoreboard. All right, I don't remember anything. All I know is these people are going really wacky here. But he's striking out a lot of guys. And so something must be going on. And like I said, in the 8th inning, he started to look like he reached back even for more and more and more. He was going for it. And he was very, very difficult to deal with when he was like that. First of all, he's a cocky kid who really believed in himself. And when you believe in yourself and you're in a zone, forget about it.
It's interesting because, I guess to be a great athlete, you have to have a certain cockiness, a certain arrogance about you that suggests to everybody, hey, you're not touching me. However, Tom always came off as so professional, never showed up an opponent or maybe a teammate who made a bad play. Well, what was it? It's interesting that you saw in Seaver that told you he was cocky.
And you know what? You've got to have that. Okay, just like you said, you've got to have that. The great ones really have it. In almost every big league player, you have to have some kind of an ego, okay, to perform. Okay, you got to think you're the very best, okay? I can walk to the plate there with 2 outs, but I'm up there proving that I can hit him. But he had a way, okay? First of all, and this is not to knock anybody, okay?
Too highfalutin for you?
That's all they do today is come out of college. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. But at that time, you got to remember, it's a different time. It's the 60s. See, and let me tell you, I saw him, I believe his first year was 67 when I was at the Dodgers. And I said to myself, wow, I didn't mind going up to hit him because I saw the ball real good. Again, that low fastball, but it would hop up all the time out of my zone and I'd swing and miss. I think I got up 27 times off of this guy. He struck me out 15 times. And I didn't strike out of that much.
Tell you what, amazingly, 11 of the 19 strikeouts were called third strikes by the home plate up Gary Wendelstedt. It seemed from Wendelstedt, was he that pinpoint, that slide?
Any umpire is going to, give him that thing. It's like I said, when I went up there and I had 2 strikes in a night, just not good. These guys, okay?
Be a lot of on the fan. This is Brandon Theory with a radio.com world-renowned hub, and that happened with The Last Dance. We got one of the great plot lines. The debate over Jordan should return from a foot injury he suffered early in his second year in the NBA, and the minutes restriction, and it was positioned as 14 minimum. Well, it sounded good, but upon doing a little digging, wasn't necessarily accurate. Oh, well, the first 2 games that he came back 37 minutes. Listen, this is not to say that what we watched the other night wasn't riveting. It was. But if it wants to be positioned as an all-time documentary, it can't steal the facts. As soon as we're back out in our yard, yep, we get company.
Dandelions, lurking crabgrass, and wheat-thin grass. But Scott's Turf Builder Triple Action takes care of them all. Now with 1 bag, kill with guarantee, only from Scott's.
Aren't welcome here.
This is a Scott's Yard. Pick up a bag of Scott's Triple Action today. NerdWallet presents Money Questions, the lightning round. Here we go, Carol. How can people compare the best credit cards?
Turn to the nerd.
Should you pay off debt or save for retirement?
Turn to the nerd.
One more. Should I listen to my father-in-law's advice on mortgage lenders?
Turn to the nerd.
You win! Confetti is literally falling from the sky.
I'm going to put my winnings in a 2-year CD.
That would be prudent, Carol.
From helpful tools to expert guidance. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds at nerdwallet.com. NMLS ID number 1617539.
Are you drowning in IRS debt? There's a team of tax professionals who specialize in helping taxpayers just like you. Get ready to take down this number to take advantage of all the new IRS tax forgiveness programs. This is Sean, a truck driver from Alabama.
Prior to calling Allied Tax Relief, I was in big trouble. I owed the IRS $42,000 and my wages were about to get garnished. Allied Tax Relief was amazing. They put a stop to my garnishment and they were able to resolve all my tax issues with the IRS. You guys saved my life.
Call Allied Tax Relief now. 800-466 6022 and speak to a qualified professional who can protect you from all the added fees and negotiate your tax debt. Allied Tax Relief can open new doors with the IRS Fresh Start program that is available now. The consultation is free. The information is free. This call could save you thousands, tens of thousands. Don't hesitate. Call today. 466-6022. That's 800-466-6022.
At Sprint, our priority is keeping our customers, employees, and communities safe. During these uncertain times, we want you to get the great service you expect without leaving the safety of your home. Sprint.com makes shopping easier by offering free next-day shipping and no activation fees on our best new phone deals, like the amazing iPhone 11. Lease it for just $15 a month when you switch to Sprint. For now, shopping online at Sprint.com is the best way to learn about our plans, buy new phones, and get the services you need. Stay healthy and go to Sprint.com or call 800-SPRINT1 today. iPhone 11 64 gigabyte, $15 per month after $14.17 monthly credit applied within 2 bills. Requires new line of service, 18-month lease, and approved credit. If you cancel early, remaining balance due. Offering coverage not available everywhere. $30 activation fee, taxes, and restrictions apply.
It is 6:49. Howie Rose with you on the Fan as we head towards, first off, our Jersey for Jersey, New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fundraiser, which airs at 7 p.m. And then at 8 o'clock, the rebroadcast of the game we're talking about now with former San Diego Padre and LA Dodger Al Ferrara. That is the night years ago. That's by Steve Carlton less than a year earlier. And then, of course, Tom with the 10 straight strikeouts. Ferrara, the first and last of those 10. But he also took Seaver deep for the only San Diego run in that game, a game the Mets would win 2-1. And you'll hear Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, and Bob Murphy at 8 o'clock here on the Fan. But in the rest of the time that we have to chat with Al Ferrara, I thought I'd ask you, I've heard that you tell this great story about very late in your career, you were playing for the Cincinnati Reds. And Sparky Anderson, of course, was the Reds manager. They had won the pennant just the year before. And maybe it was one of the first games you played for the Reds. You misplayed a ball in the outfield. And when you got back to the dugout, Sparky was ready for you. What happened?
Well, I had been, it was at the end of the line for me. And, I was staggering around out there. And I had just come over from San Diego in a trade for a player by the name of Angel Bravo. And so I think we were trading 180 hitters. Both of us were going real bad. And so when I went out there and messed the ball up, I came in the dugout, and there's Sparky standing on the front step, this Hall of Fame manager with his arms together. And I'm saying to myself, I better come up with a good excuse for this guy or say something to him. So I just walked up to him and said, what did you expect for Angel Bravo? Willie Mays? And he just started cracking up and laughing. and that story sort of caught on.
And there were no hard feelings. Everything was good?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sparky was fun. I have no problems with Sparky.
All right. Now, a couple other things I want to ask you about. You were a classical pianist?
Well, he was a piano teacher, and he taught my grandmother how to play, and then he taught my mother how to play, and then I was the firstborn. I was the one he taught how to play, and all classical music. Couldn't play any pop stuff. Forget about it. Remember, I'm from Brooklyn. Everybody wants to hear Rock Around the Clock, and I'm playing Chopin and Beethoven. So Grandma wanted me to be Van Cliburn, and I wanted to be Little Richard. Would have a recital in Carnegie Hall with his students. Well, I was for the piano teacher at Carnegie Hall, and I walked.
To this day,
if we could have done both things, I could have just kept it going, but no, I just didn't have an ear for it. I couldn't play or compose or do any music like that. I could play with Bob and play it very well, but I couldn't play Happy Birthday. Okay, because I just didn't have the gel. And remember, I'm from Brooklyn. The kids all had trios and bands, and they'd ask me, come on, play the piano. What could I do? I couldn't do it. So, to the piano, at that time, I sort of Didn't want to do it. Now I wish I would have stuck with it, even to play for my enjoyment.
Look at the bright side, though. Once you play Carnegie Hall, I mean, where do you go from there, right?
Right. What can I tell you?
Here's something I want you to tell me. How did you wind up on Gilligan's Island?
Okay, first of all, Gilligan's Island, Lee Walls, okay, now you might remember him. He played with Big Leagues many years, and he was a teammate of mine with the Dodgers, and then he retired, and he went to work as an agent, okay, in Hollywood, and he put me together with Jack Girardi, and they got me on Gilligan's Island that time. That led to a lot of other things. We had a season ticket holder by the name of Howie Horowitz, who was behind home plate, who took a liking to me, and I got 3 Batman appearances, a Beretta. Those little things. Now remember, my acting career is only because I was a baseball player. There was no ability there. Okay, I was a baseball player, and then they would have me come on. It's like when I walked up there the first time with Horowitz for Batman, he said, read the script. I read 2 lines. Here, you got it. And I walked up. So there it was.
But you did Batman too?
I did 2 Batman. Yeah, I did actually the last Batman series ever. The last episode was Zsa Zsa Gabor I was on. I was played Atlas.
So talking now about your professional affiliations with Zsa Zsa Gabor, Ginger and Marianne, right? The professor.
What about, I'm getting to go further, what about Tallulah Bankhead?
And where'd you come across her?
She was in the first
Was she on Gilligan's Island too?
She was on the first Batman. She was on the first Batman that I did. She was the villain. Tallulah Bankhead, and Zsa Zsa was on the second one, and she was the villain on that one. So, in fact, the first one's funny. With Tallulah, she was the Black Widow Spider as the villain, you know? The character by the name of Trap War, which was a spider. Okay, so every time Batman and Robin came in and ground up Tallulah, I would come out of the floor, okay, in this spider outfit, and come up, and Robin would kick the hell out of me.
That's a Robin got you.
Yeah, my grandmother. Now, what are you going to do? I have to go with the script. You want to get paid, right?
I understand. So you had some sort of connection to Jackie Gleason as well?
No, I was wondering, the pregame show, that was like my father, that's Al Ferrara Sr., he worked for Jackie Gleason at Inverary. Okay, that's my dad. He retired from the New York Fire Department, okay, for many years, moved to Florida, to retire, but he couldn't stay in the house, and he worked for Jackie Gleason at the golf course.
Did you ever get to meet Gleason?
No, I never did. I wish I did. He's one of my favorites. Yeah, he was one of my favorites.
You and me both. And just to wrap up, you're now still, or are you still, employed by the Dodgers in community service?
Well, that's actually an employment. I am an independent contractor, and I represent them in the community. They send me out quite a bit, okay, into the community. I deal with elementary schools, Little League openings. I speak with the kids. I go to the Alzheimer's Association, the vets hospitals, and some of the older homes in the area. And I've been doing that for 12 years. I love it. I hope right now, of course, we can't go out. I just hope that when we're able to go out again, they'll send me out again because I loved it.
Well, I really love talking to you because it's not simply about the Mets or the Padres 50 years ago. It's about you taking a Hall of Fame pitcher deep in a game where he struck out 19, still got you a couple of times, first and last of the 10. And real quickly, which is the bigger achievement? Because I've got my own opinion on it. The 19 strikeouts for the 10 straight. Which is the greater achievement to you?
10 straight. 10 straight. That's unbelievable. 10 straight. I mean, that's hard to believe, okay? And like I said before, he was there. This is a great day to celebrate this guy. He was that good.
And we're so happy that you came on to join us. Al, all good luck to you, and feel well, stay safe, and thanks for being with us.
Never thought I'd say this. Let's go Mets.
There you go. All right, he's from Brooklyn. It's cool. Al Ferrara, our guest, you'll hear his work with Lindsay, Bob, and Ralph at 8 o'clock. I'm Howie Rose. Thanks to Brian Rastona for all of his help. Stay tuned. Jersey for Jersey is coming up as the New Jersey pandemic.